Hello, this is Dawn, and I thought I would try something different with you. I wanted to show you how you use the new moon to set intentions and do manifestations because I think that there's some people that aren't aware of how they can utilize these new moon energies. And I thought I'd take the time, especially since we have such a powerful new moon coming up, to go over different things that you can do as part of a manifestation ritual in order to set intentions for what you want that to bring in for you. So let me take a look here at, I'm going to just screen share here a second. Ah, this will help. So here we are. This is the new moon in Taurus that is going to be happening on the 7th. And actually, I believe looking at the time that it'll in Eastern time, it would be 11:21 p.m. Now, the thing about new moons and manifesting is that you should always wait until after the new moon has perfected, meaning becoming exact. And here it is at 18:02. You have within 24 to 48 hours then to set your intentions. The best time to set them is within 8 hours of that new moon perfecting. But take a look at all of this beautiful energy that's in here. You have the moon and the sun conjunct at 18:02. And because it's in such a close conjunction with Uranus and Jupiter, it is reactivating that energy from the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And that conjunction is also in a beautiful trine to Pluto, transformational energy. You have Pluto in a sextile, a helping hand energy, a friend energy to Mars, which has just entered its home sign of Aries and will be going over the North Node and Chiron. And that will, and then also that degree of the eclipse, because remember that eclipse is in effect for anywhere from 6 months to several years. So if that was a very strong influence for you, then utilizing some of this new moon Taurus energy is going to be very helpful. You also have Neptune now at that 29th degree, and Mars has just gone over it. That 29th degree is in a sextile with Jupiter. So you have all this really nice energy that's going on here. The moon is also exalted in Taurus. So that's another benefit of using this time because there's no better place for the moon to start manifesting. It is very stable in its emotions that it's feeling. You also have the ruler of Taurus, Venus, is now in her own sign. So she's bringing all of her energy with her as she's going through this area of the chart, and she will be um, later on this month conjuncting all of these planets, Jupiter, Uranus, and the sun. So what else is going on here? Well, Jupiter is also here. So you have all of this really positive energy with the two benefics in this house. And then you have Uranus here, that element of surprise, the unexpected, sudden insights. So this is great energy, beautiful energy for bringing in manifestations with regard to things that are very Taurus related. Taurus is a fixed sign, meaning that, as they say, Taurus can be very stubborn. But for me, the fixed energy is reliable. It is they are very hesitant to do change. That's why it was a little bit um, uncomfortable for that Uranus energy to be in that house. So with Jupiter, because it's very expanded, and this could be related to money, could be related to food source, could be related to relationships, and the finer things in life. Venus not only signifies money and signifies love, she also signifies your relationship with women. So if you're in a business that deals a lot with female clientele, then what you are manifesting at this time, you could include this as part of your manifestation. I want to reach the clientele in my area, depending upon what house it's in. And I will go through all the houses, 1 through 12, so that you kind of get the idea of what that manifestation would be for each house, tied in with the fact that it's Taurus energy. So Taurus is also what would be considered a feminine sign, and it is also an earth sign. So it is very much it's very much related to the food sources, anything of that nature. So depending on if it's like in this case, it's in the 6th house in this particular chart, and it's can be related to, okay, I want to manifest growing a beautiful vegetable garden. But how I would state that is I enjoy eating vegetables that are grown by my own hands in my own garden. Because I believe now it's more important to put, instead of an I wish or I want, to put it in the present tense for you, to make it more of a it's here energy. And generally the new moons will last until the next new moon, or 6 months later when it becomes a full moon, when the moon and sun when the sun is over here in the Scorpio area, and then the full moon in Taurus can take place on the opposite side. So always 6 months apart, the full moon will be opposite, um, in the opposite axis. So this will be in Scorpio. The other thing to think about when you're doing intention setting is, do I have anything in Taurus? And there's a lot of degrees that this could be hitting. So if it's your first house, your ascendant is in here somewhere. And what is it close to? Can you relate what you want to that particular planet? Is there any opposition over here? Is there anything squaring over here? Now, these are all the fixed signs. So the fixed signs are all going to be in a square with each other. But as you can see, there's really not, the only really square, this red line here indicating a square. These are all conjunct, but this square energy is going to this 10-degree Venus, and that would make it an 8-degree orb. So, but Pluto and Venus, that can be very intense relationships. So depending upon what houses these are connecting, if you maybe want a very passionate relationship, this is going to be a square. So there might be some issues with it, but there's so much other positive energy in the chart, and it is an 8-degree orb. So it's a little bit wide as far as the orbs go. Now, taking a look at this, I wanted to then, let me unshare the screen here. So what I wanted to do is just take a look and show you, when you're setting up a time for you to set intentions, it's very important to get yourself in a quiet space. You want to have a focus on what you're doing. It basically also tells the universe that you're serious about what you're requesting. And what I have found with talking with other people and with people who do this intention setting is they almost make like a ritual out of it. So one of the things that you can do is have a candle, and a candle can be used to signify the start of you going through this ritual, and also the end when you blow out the candle and release that energy, because you do have to release it. You just can't keep it open-ended. You have to allow the universe to be able to work with it. So you have to release it. The other thing that you can do is use sound. This happens to be a sound bowl. So and that can be used at the beginning or at the end. What I wanted to show you is one of the things that I use. This is the go-to book for, this is Jan Spiller who wrote this book. I have this both on Kindle and I have this in, of course, here, and I have written all over it and I have notes and things like that. But what this does is it takes you to what the kind of requests that you can make for each new moon. And this is also a really fascinating book because it talks about people and their north nodes. So the example here is Taurus, north node, people, and north node in the second house. So depending on what house your north node is in, or if it's a Taurus node, it's discussed here in this book and it goes through all 12. So it's all 12 houses, all 12 signs. And so this will help you also get a little bit better handle on your north node. Plus, if you're looking at somebody else in your life, a relationship, the node in somebody's chart is going to be definitely, if the nodes don't move that quickly, of course. So even if you only have the date of somebody's birth, you should be able to know what sign that node is in, the north node, and thereby the south node. So that's one of the ways that you can do this. But this is the go-to book. I will leave a link down below, but I use this all the time, every month. And it's when I'm giving people information about it, a lot of times I will like take a screenshot. I'm like, here, this is for you this month. So I think this is a very important resource for you. You will, if you get this book, you won't regret it, whether it's in a Kindle form or in this book form. And anything that is relating to you, you can underline, you can highlight, you can do all of those things. But this is a great book. She has passed on, and she has, I have two of her other books, but she is, this is just the first one I would recommend that you get. I do have her other books, but this is the go-to for me all the time. It's probably one of my most used references because it's, every month we have that new moon energy and giving me ideas as to how I can utilize it. The other thing that you want to do is have a pen and paper. So you're going to be writing down your intentions. You should handwrite them. You really should. And how fancy you want to do that, or what your intention is after you write them, that is something that you can cover as well, as far as you've released this. Do you want to take them and set them aside and maybe do a burning ritual to release them after you've completed this process, of course? Or do you want to save them? I also have done, I have I have an astrology book. And so I get 6 months at a time for this, and I make notes in this all the time. So what I have a tendency to do is when I set a new moon intention, I go to the full moon that's going to be occurring in 6 months and write down what my intentions were during the new moon. So I have something to refer back to right away when I get to that point and see how far I've come on that road. And you can also um, um, utilize making the requests in different ways. So if you're doing an intention, you can set the intention, but maybe use it a couple different times in different ways, the way that you're phrasing it and what you're asking for, although you kind of are asking for the same thing. Um, According to Jan Spiller, she does not do more than 10. And what I would suggest to you, because I do think that this is very useful and helpful, is just kind of use some of this energy of Tesla. And what I would say is this: if you want to write out either 3 or 6 or 9 intentions for the new moon, then I would make a habit of using the 3, 6, and 9 numbers. So if I write out 9 intentions, which is a nice number, then I would maybe copy them 3 times each, write them out 3 times each, and then say them out loud 6 times each. as part of this request of me putting in this manifestation. So, and you can switch that around. Do you want to do it three requests and say 9 times and then write 6? You determine how you want to do that. But this is also the 369 project. So this is also a very good, resource book as far as manifesting goes. So there's different things that you can do with that. Now, we discussed Taurus and what Taurus means and the fact that it's Venus ruled, and Venus is going to be in her sign. Okay, it takes Venus roughly a year. This year, she's flying around. Remember back in June 22nd when she was conjunct um, Mars in Aquarius at 6 degrees? She's going to be going all the way back around very, very quickly and is going to be back in that area of the chart by the end of the year. So normally she's not moving this fast. She will go retrograde in March in Aries. That's how fast she's moving, right? So she will already go back over that, those same degrees that she was in Aquarius before she has that retrograde in Aries, and that's in March. Let's see, what other things can I list for you? I think that's a good basic start. I know that some people use crystals as part of their process, so maybe they'll hold the crystal in one hand as they're doing the intention setting, and that's something that you can carry with you when you are out and about or in your purse or anything like that. That is another way to incorporate your intention setting in a very physical way. So I would go through this process and, create yourself some space when you're doing this. Set an intention for Archangel Michael to protect and guide you through this intention setting ritual. You can, like I said, use sound, set your candle, then start the process of what you want to write out for your intention. Now let's take a look at what the houses are. And I will just pull up that chart again, and we'll just look at what each house is as we go through and share screen. There. I will bring this back up. So say we're talking about the first house. Now, if your first house is Taurus, then you're going to be having your ascendant here. And again, I would think about whether, how close it is to some of the other planets. And what you can do is think of what the first house represents. It is you in the chart. So let me just I'm pulling this up. This is the house of self. This is the house of your physical body. This is great for setting goals regarding personal goals for yourself related to you. And I would say, so if you are thinking about you want to get your body in better shape, maybe physical health, you could do, I am hydrating my body so it works at its maximum efficiency. Or I am taking care of my body so that it works at its maximum efficiency, and how you may do that. Instead of saying, I'm going to drink more water, I want to drink more water, instead of I want or I wish. I know Jan Spiller uses the terms I want or I wish, but this is a bit older book. And I think we have learned that in the moment of now is when you have control. So setting that intention in the now, I think, is much more important. Let's see, I am joyfully accepting all forms of abundance into my life. And instead of saying, I wish for more money. So there's different things that you can do regarding your own self and your own physical body. Also, because it's Taurus, it's about maybe you want to do something Taurus related to improve your physical appearance. You want to, number one, maybe getting into better shape, but I am grateful that I can change I'm grateful that I have a hairstyle that looks good on me. I'm getting, I'm enjoying having different hair color in my life that makes me feel better about myself. So I would try as many ways as you can think of how to phrase things, whether, and I think you should do small intentions and bigger intentions. So something that you can set for short term, um, like the next week or so, um, or for the next 6 months. That's the thing. It doesn't have to be something that's within 24 hours. It can be something that, you can work towards something that's 6 months away. Because Taurus is also about physicality and beautiful things, the Venus rule, you can maybe talk about, I want to find, I am I'm grateful for purchasing clothes that complement my body type. So those are the kind of things that you can look at for the first house. Now, the second house is the house of resources. This is considered the money house, where you get your money from. And it's also about your self-confidence. So you may want to make intentions with, I am confident in the way that I present myself to the world. I am careful with my spending so that I may enjoy future trips. Um, Anything that is uh, about your resources. So it's the money house, it's the sense of your personal values, any form of resource in your life that you may have. Again, you can do the I am accepting all forms of abundance in my life. That would be perfect for this house, right? So that is if Taurus were your second house. Now, um, I think you can also take a look at, I was just looking at my notes here. I am creating my own personal resources and ways of bringing abundance into my life in a joyful way. That is a great intention to put out there. Um, I enjoy working with people around me to bring abundance into all our lives because it's a money house. And that is something that can also be used for the sixth house because that's your daily work, daily habits. Or you can even use that same one for the 10th house. So you can kind of mix things up a little bit in your requests for each house. So what else can you think of for the second house? Let's see. Um, I'm able to enjoy my life as I know all my desires will exceed um, all all my expectations will exceed my desires because you're having this in Taurus. It's a very physical, beautiful, um, manifesting energy, especially with all of the benefics there and unexpected things. Um, I think also, yeah, creating your own personal resources, um, even to the extent of you can even do, I am enjoying healthy relationships with people that um, encourage my self-confidence. So because it is resources is also about your own personal values, which is something that is also the ninth house. So those kind of things can do crossovers a bit. Third house is about the community. It is about siblings. It's about vehicles. It's how you think, um, short different distance travel, the ways that you communicate. Now, because if you're thinking of Taurus being in this third house, I am able to communicate in easy ways that people can understand what I'm saying. I have um, being that it can also be about the ways that you think about things. I would say also because Taurus has a tendency to be fixed, and this is a very busy, constantly changing area, you may make the request of, I easily accept change in my life in regard to my local community. Because sometimes you want to promote the fact that, okay, I do want to have some change in my life, and I want it to be good change. Again, this is perfect because Taurus is that, ruled by Venus, that very loving energy, very solid. So I think using the third house as a sense of community, it's also about small business. So, gee, Taurus, money in the house of small business. So this would be a perfect time for you to, I exceed my expectations with the clients and abundance I'm bringing in to my community, to my personal business for the greater good of all. So anything like that you can think of as far as that, it's a very constantly changing house, the third house is. Local community, let's see, business, again, learning new things, vehicles and short distance travel. So you could even, I want to take more trips, or I enjoy taking trips with my family to get away for the weekend, in lovely surroundings, Taurus again. So then let's move on to the fourth house. The fourth house is a very personal house. It is your background. It's who you're from. It's your ancestors. It can be your parents. It can be your personal property, such as your home. Again, I am joyfully accepting all forms of abundance into my life that beautify my home. Not I want a better home. Or you can, if you are looking for a new place to live, I am thankful that I will be finding the perfect space for me that is both functional and affordable. And I think you can still use the I want, I wish phrases, I want phrases. But I have a tendency, like I said, to go more of the present tense if I can. Let's see. I create abundance in my life with the help of my ancestors guiding me. Again, creating that abundance by utilizing the house that it's in, with this Taurus being money, being relationships with other people. So I think that could be very, very helpful and useful. Now, if you have Taurus in the fifth house, that can be very much about you enjoying tactile, physical things, and things that you value, things that you enjoy. And the fifth house is very definitely the house of joy. It's the house of children. It's the house of hobbies and passions and children of the mind, the things that you create, and things that are also a passion of yours. So with Taurus in that house, you can, again, um, utilize that energy of, I wish to create beautiful quilts that I can adorn my house with, or as I wish to finish this quilt in the next 6 months as a gift to my niece or a gift to my daughter. So it's that physical, tangible part of Taurus that you're appealing to. And if it can be related to money, again, abundance, uh, I want to turn my hobby into something that supports me financially. That's a very easy way to utilize that house. So, sixth house, the house of everyday habits. What do you want to bring into your everyday habits that that you can do on a daily basis. One of the things that I will point out is that with Saturn in here, with this energy, it's it's making it easier for you to take things one step at a time because Mars and Saturn were conjunct, and that gave longevity to. So one of the things that you did was back during that eclipse time is say, I want to have a long-term 2 to 2.5 year plan set at this time when Saturn and Mars are conjunct that I can move forward with in my life. So that is another thing that you can do is you can utilize, because we still have this energy, we still have the eclipse is still part of this activated energy. Don't forget, you've got Chiron here, you've got Mercury here, you've got the North Node at 15 degrees. So you can still utilize all of this energy into this manifesting. So the sixth house is also people that you may work with. So when you think of the houses, think of 2 as your resources, 6 as your everyday habits, and your health. This is also the house of physical health, where the 12th house is mental health. So it's something that you can do for manifesting something in a daily habit for your physical health improvement for the long term, right? So I think, or maybe manifesting a better job or better work environment, because Venus is there. Venus likes beautiful things. And you have Jupiter there magnifying everything. So this is also you that you may be responsible for other people. Maybe you're a manager or a supervisor. So it can be the house of work, the house of daily habits. It's something usually that you associate with daily things. It's also the house of pets, especially dogs. So if you have like a special um, manifestation for your animals, you can also make that manifestation now, because this is a very loving energy, of course, with Taurus and ruled by Venus. So seventh house. Wow, Taurus in your seventh house, ruled by Venus. How nice. This is the house of one-on-one relationships. It's also the house of contracts. It can be regarding the type of people you're attracted to. It can be about your first marriage. But I really want to emphasize that it is one-on-one relationships. And that can be with open enemies, someone that you don't like. You do have a one-on-one relationship with. So you can utilize the seventh house for smoothing over relationships, or with the South Node that we've been having in Libra, maybe manifesting getting that person out of your one-on-one relationships. I think also that you need to think about the fact that this is also, if you're in a business, this is one-on-one clients. This is working with people one-on-one. So if you have a business that, whether it is being a designer, a home designer, or if you are an astrologer, or if you are a consultant of some kind and do one-on-one with people, card readers, one-on-one clients. So you need to just think of the seventh house as the other. The first is always self, about yourself. The axis for the seventh house is the other. Friend, enemy, business partner. It's a one-on-one relationship. Okay, so let's go into the eighth house. The eighth house is the house of death and rebirth. It's a house of taxes. It's a house of debt. It's a house of other people's money. It's the house of things that we don't talk about. What you can do when you're manifesting in this house, and it's, being that it's a house of transformation, or because we're talking about Taurus being in this house, it could be, I want to receive, or I wish to receive my taxes back. Or about an inheritance. I wish to receive news of my inheritance, or because it's actually physical money, it's tangible because it's Taurus. I would say any kind of things that you would inherit, and sometimes inheritance in this house is not just um, physical things. Um, what traits maybe you inherited from your family can also be in this house. Let's see. Oh, and it's, the house of the, things that we don't talk about, sex, income, what goes on behind closed doors. Because if this is the house of marriage, this is the house of what goes on behind closed doors in the marriage. This house is also utilized for when you have, if you are working in accounting because you're dealing with other people's money, or if you are a real estate agent because you're dealing with other people's property, or if you work in a field of helping other people with um, getting through death experiences, whether you are a support or whether you're um, sometimes when you have transits to this house, you could be helping other people, or if you have a lot of things in here, it could be related to any of those things. I mean, you could be working in a hospice and have a lot of things in this area. But what I would say, if you're going to be doing the new moon requests and manifestations, is I would do it for transformation, or if because it's Taurus, about receiving in abundance. And it's the 8th and the 12th are always they're like the hardest ones to get a pin in. But I think that if anything that you set the intentions for, especially if it's if you want a beautiful, loving relationship with your spouse, that is something that you can make an intention from this sign, from this house as well. So that's the 8th house. Let's go on to the 9th house. The 9th is one of the most fortunate houses. So the 9th house is about foreign things. It's also about long distance travel. It's about traveling by plane. It's higher education, astrology, philosophy. What do you believe in? It's also about the law. So if you're having anything, because this is Taurus and it's a tangible thing, if you are having property disputes, if you are having anything like that, you can put manifestations in here regarding those things, or manifestations about paying for higher education, or really enjoying going on, manifesting a foreign trip or a long distance trip by utilizing the 9th house. I am, and I'm enjoying my love of travel and the ability to go wherever I want, whenever I want. That would be one of mine for the 9th house. And being that it's Taurus, it's about that physical. I want to go to different places and enjoy all kinds of exotic foods in foreign countries. Great. That would be a great one for Taurus, right? So it's also about what you personally believe. So if there are things that you um, want to bring into your life, this is such a fortunate house. It covers a lot of um, wider range of things, but it's usually very much positive energy. That and the 11th house are like some of the most fortunate houses. So that would be Taurus and the 9th house, and of course being ruled by Venus. This going to beautiful places, um, climbing, getting to know the countryside, very Taurus energy. Going and picking grapes in an Italian vineyard, very much this kind of energy. Okay. 10th house, house of career. So the 10th house is also what you are known for in the world. So if you're doing a 9 to 5 job and that's really not what you want to be known for in the world, maybe you're the person that it's known for making the best cakes around, or you're the person well, and I do have a sister who is a Leo rising, who has Taurus in the 10th house, and she is a magnificent quilt maker. And she can very easily make this tangible, beautiful thing. And that's what she's known for. Also being an incredible cook, Taurus, food, um, canning, jams, vegetables, her cooking. If she doesn't like it, she throws it away. She doesn't can anything that she won't be proud of. That's a very Taurus thing because it's only the best. So if you have Taurus in this 10th house, manifest a job that you are comfortable in, that you like the environment that you're in. All of those things can be used for the 10th house. And it can be related to your life's purpose. So you can do manifesting with regard to that. But in this, like this whole sign, this is whole sign houses that I'm using, and the MC is over here. So then you would do a combination of those things when you're looking at career things. So these are part of the money houses. The second house, your resources, the eighth house, um, people that you know, other people's money that you are somehow involved in. The sixth house of what you do every day, possibly for a living, your daily work habits, and the 10th house of career. So utilizing all those things. And if you're also looking at what your North Node information is, I always look at the North Node, and then I also look at these other areas of the chart to get a better idea of where that person has been and what they're moving toward and what the North Node has been putting in their path um, for what is meant for them, right? So that's the 10th house. The 11th house, when you're talking about Taurus, would be, it's the house of friends. And because Venus can be other women, it can be female friends that you enjoy going out and doing things with. It can be luck. It's the house of connections. It's the house of networking, internet, communication to a broad number of people, being out. It's a very much being out in the public kind of house. It's a very public house. So here is the things that you love and personally love to do. And here are the people that you go do it with. This is the organizations that you might support. This is how you express this. I make beautiful art and I bring it into my community to sell. So one of the things you can do with that is like, I am making great connections with the women in my community to promote safer environment for children, just depending upon what you want that 11th house to symbolize for you with Taurus there, right? So Taurus being physical, getting a new computer, that could fall in here because that is like internet related. And you have Uranus over here, right? So Uranus would be in that sign. So internet connections, doing something that gets you out and noticed out there could be part of this manifestation. So let's move on to the 12th house. Again, the 12th house is kind of a harder one to deal with. It is a spiritual house. It is the house of exile. It can mean hospitals and prisons or retreats and isolation. Like I said, it's a spiritual house. It is the house also of hidden enemies, and it can be the house of our own undoing. So what I would say about the 12th house and having Taurus there, and I'm a Gemini rising, so this is me, is saying I'm wanting to create good relationships with women for my business, spiritual business. So that can be something that you can utilize in this 12th house because we were looking at all of these through the eye of the fact that it's Taurus that we're looking at. So this can be physical, tangible things. It can also be, I wish to be on a retreat with MJ when it gets planned. So that is the kind of thing that you can put into this house. And again, it can be a short term or long term. So 6 months from now, maybe you're like, oh, I know the dates for that. And it's part of my process. I've been saving up. I'm doing that. I can take care of all those things. Or it's maybe I knew a client who, when this house was activated for him, um, he did go to Costa Rica and experienced healing there because his Chiron is in that house as well. So that was his opportunity to physically go somewhere. A lot of times, if someone has um, a lot of things active for the 12th house, the house of exile can also be foreign countries, but it's more on a permanent basis, like living in a foreign country as opposed to the ninth house of visiting a foreign country. So if your goal is, I want to eventually be able to move to a new country and support myself with my spiritual business, that could all be right here. Again, I am a Gemini rising. The 12th house is Taurus for me. So this is something that I could utilize with my intention setting for those houses. So I hope that was helpful for you. What you can do after you've finished writing down what your choices are or what you're trying to manifest, then decide how you want to release that. Again, you can use a sound bowl. I don't usually use this when I'm trying to do different things. I usually use this kind of for clearing energy in the area before I do readings and things like that. So that you can utilize things like that. You don't have to. I like the idea of using a candle at the beginning and then blowing it out at the end when you have released everything, and then decide how you want to, what you want to do with your um, written intentions, whether you want to have a really special book that you want to write them into, a journal that you want to write them into, however you feel is best for you to set those intentions. So I want to thank you for watching this little presentation because I think this is very helpful for people who are very new to how they want to utilize the new moon energy. So I will put the links for the books down below. And thank you for watching.